Hey kids, Mr. Little again. Today I'm going to provide you the oral recording for the plasma membrane and cell parts functions for pre-AP, for the pre-AP quiz. It is divided up into a number of sections, so yours may look slightly different from mine, but let's get to it. Okay, use the Introduction to Cells Edpuzzle and the Plasma Cell Membrane article to help you answer the following questions. When you learned about the plasma membrane, you were supposed to read an article, complete the interactive plasma membrane review, and watch 3 videos. How many objectives does Mr. Pollock have in the second video? Okay, next section. This quiz is open notes and may be taken as many times as necessary to receive a passing grade. Obviously, I want you to put in your first and last name as well as your class period. That'll take you to the next section. And it says, use the article, the plasma membrane, to answer the following questions. The cell membrane is mostly composed of what type of molecule? Cholesterol, hydrophobic molecules, integral proteins, or phospholipids? Next question. Use the diagram below to match the correct part of the plasma membrane with its correct name. So obviously you're going to fill in the correct radio buttons for hydrophobic, carbohydrate, hydrophilic, and peripheral protein. Refer to the reading in order to get that part of the information. Same diagram. Use the diagram below to match the correct part of the plasma membrane with its correct name. In this case, I want you to tell me which one applies to cholesterol, intrinsic proteins, phospholipid bilayers, and phospholipids. Next question. Which molecule within the plasma membrane functions to distinguish between a virus, such as COVID-19, or another body cell? The hydrophilic head, carbohydrate, peripheral protein, or cholesterol molecule? Next question. According to the diagram below, the protein channel, which is shown right here, is blocking molecules from entering the cell, is a pathway that allows molecules to enter the interior of the cell, or allows one cell to recognize another cell. Next question. The diagram below is showing how the plasma membrane is semi-permeable. Based on the diagram below, a student might define semi-permeable as a membrane that only allows specific substances to cross the phospholipid bilayer, a membrane that keeps all substances from entering or leaving the cell, a membrane that only allows gases to pass through, such as oxygen and carbon dioxide, or none of the above are true about semi-permeable membranes. According to the diagram below, which statement is true? Lipids can be seen using both a light and electron microscope. Lipids are right here. Chloroplasts, which are right here, are larger than most bacteria, which is right here. Plant cells range in size from 10 to 100 nanometers, or lipids are smaller than T2 phages, which are right here. Which part of the plasma membrane is like a student's ID because it helps identify the cell and allows the cell to recognize other cells? The protein, the phospholipid, the carbohydrate, or the cholesterol? Next, you'll move on to the next section. Use the Edpuzzle Introduction to Cells to answer the following questions. Look at the information in the diagram below. Which cell is most likely a plant cell? And notice that you've got a table, or a graph rather, for cell 1 and one for cell 2. The x-axis denotes the cell structure, and the y-axis is the percent of the total cell mass. Which cell is most likely a plant cell? Cell 1, cell 2, both cells are animal cells, or both plants are plant cells? Which table correctly describes the functions of the cell structures listed? And go through those, figure out which ones are correct. Would it be F, G, H, or J? Use the diagram below to identify the organelle responsible for the process of photosynthesis. Is it going to be this one right here, 3, 4, 7, or 9? Which structure performs similar functions in plant and animal cells? The mitochondria, nucleus, and cell membrane, the vacuole, the chloroplast, and the cell wall, the cell membrane, the cell wall, and the nucleus, or the ribosome, the cell membrane, and the chloroplast. Once you've completed that section, yay, congratulations! You've completed your week 7 assignments for science. Remember that your quiz is always the last part that you participate in prior to closing out the session. Make sure that you have scored a score of 70% or higher. Otherwise, you will have to review the resources and retake in order to obtain credit. Don't forget to click the send button, and this completes the oral recording for plasma membrane and cell parts and functions.